Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtiprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 7, the sacrifice performed by Daksha, text number 29 onwards. So Lord Vishnu has appeared in the sacrifice and everybody is offering their prayers. Daksha, Brahmins and others, they have offered theirs. Now text 29. Rudra Vacha Tavarad Varangrava Shisheshe Akhilarte Yapi Munibhir Saktar Adarin Haraniye Yadi Rachit Dhiyam Ma Vidyaloko Pavidham Japati na Ganye Tattvat Tattvat Parangrihina. So Lord Shiva said, my dear Lord, my mind and consciousness are always fixed on your lotus feet, which as a source of all benediction and fulfillment of all desires are worshipped by all liberated great sages, because your lotus feet are worthy of worship. With my mind fixed on your lotus feet, I am no longer disturbed by persons who blaspheme me, claiming that my activities are not purified. I do not mind their accusations, and I excuse them out of compassion, just as you exhibit compassion towards all living entities. So this is the prayers of Lord Shiva. See, everybody's prayer are according to their level of realization. So the Brahmins prayed differently, the sages, priests prayed differently, Daksha prayed differently, and look at the prayers of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva expresses herein his regret at having been angry and having disturbed the sacrificial activities of Daksha. King Daksha had insulted him in many ways, and thus he had become angry and had frustrated the entire sacrificial ceremony. Later, when he was pleased, the yajna performances were reinstituted, and therefore he regretted his activities. Now he says that because his mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, he is no longer disturbed by the ordinary critics of his way of life. From this statement by Lord Shiva, it is understood that as long as one is on the material platform, one is affected by the three modes of material nature. As soon as one is in Krishna consciousness, however, one is no longer affected by such material activities. So Lord Shiva is saying, because I'm always fixed on the lotus feet, I'm not disturbed by all these accusations and blasphemy and this and that. In fact, I excuse them out of compassion. So this is very great teaching for us. If we are getting disturbed by anything, by blasphemy, by accusations, by offenses, or by anything, then that means we haven't taken shelter of the lotus feet of Lord completely. That means we are not at the transcendental level, not at the spiritual level. Because at the spiritual level, even though within this material body, the person will not be affected by anything that happens to his material body, especially if somebody is just putting some blames here and there. People will keep on doing that, or Krishna will test us through those people, how much shelter we have taken of his lotus feet. So it is guaranteed that such a devotee will never be affected by the actions and the reactions of the three modes of material nature. This fact is also corroborated in Bhagavad Gita Anyone who is fixed in the transcendental service of the Lord has surpassed all the material qualities and is situated in the status of Brahman realization, in which one is not afflicted by hankering for material objects. So this hankering for material objects means material prestige, material respect. That is what, and when we don't get it, when our expectations are not met, we get angry. The recommendation of the Srimad Bhagavatam is that one should always be Krishna conscious and should never forget his transcendental relationship with the Lord. This program has to be followed strictly by everyone. From the statement of Lord Shiva, it is understood that he was always in Krishna consciousness, and thus he remained free from material affliction. The only remedy, therefore, is to continue Krishna consciousness rigidly in order to get out of the contamination of the material worlds. So this is the only remedy, is to continue Krishna consciousness rigidly. Rigidly means with determination, with fixture, complete concentration. That is the only way to take us out of contamination material. In fact, Bhagavad Gita clearly says that one who is engaged in devotional service, he automatically gets out of the three modes of material nature. He transcends those. Yoga, by yoga, because yoga means one gets out of the bodily concept of life and connects with the Supreme Lord, and then he gets above the three modes of material nature. But in this day and age, Bhakti, Krishna consciousness, that we have to perform it properly, first of all. Then it will have the desired effect. Otherwise, especially our chanting, that's the main process. That is the most important process. And this chanting, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if we are not chanting properly, if we are chanting offensively, if we are chanting just for the sake of finishing our rounds, it would be like kids. They have these plastic guns, and they like to shoot everything. But those guns, the sound of those that gun, or even if there's some plastic balls come out, they don't hurt anybody. They don't kill anybody. But so similarly is our chanting. If we are chanting unnecessarily or inattentively, then the words come out, the syllables come out. Ha, ka, ra, sha, na, ha, ra, ra, ma. But the name, the holy name is not coming out. So those syllables, they're not going to cleanse our heart. They're not going to purify us. It's the holy name that comes out. That is going to purify us. That is going to have the right effect. So we have to chant properly. And when we chant properly, as we discussed earlier also, it says in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shikshamrita, Shikshashtakam, that Chetu Darpan Marjanam, that's the first thing that will happen, is Chetu Darpan Marjanam. Our heart will be completely cleansed if we are chanting Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, if we are chanting properly. And one will transcend the three modes. It will happen. By the mercy of the holy name, by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, it is bound to happen. So everything is in our chanting, especially devotional service, but chanting, no. Most importantly, it's the chanting. And this is what Lord Shiva is saying. I have taken complete shelter of the lotus feet. And that is why I don't get disturbed. That's why Lord Shiva is called a Dhira. He's called a Dhira Purush. Dhira means sober, completely fixed up. It doesn't get shaken. It doesn't get disturbed. Briguruvacha yanvaya gihanya prahitatma bodha brahmadeyas tanudhitas tamsi swapantaha natman shitam tav vidanti dhunapi tattvam soyam prasidatu bhavan pranatatma bandhu. Shri Bhrigu said, my dear Lord, all living entities, beginning from the highest, namely Lord Brahma, down to their ordinary ant, are under the influence of the insurmountable spell of illusory energy. And thus they are ignorant of their constitutional position. Everyone believes in the concept of the body, and all are thus submerged in the darkness of illusion. They are actually unable to understand how you live in every living entity as a super soul. Nor can they understand your absolute position. But you are the eternal friend and protector of all surrendered souls. Therefore, please be kind towards us and forgive all our offenses. So now everybody, besides Lord Shiva and the other party, means Dakshanda's party, they're realizing how much, how offensive they were. Bhrigu Muni was conscious of the scandalous behavior exhibited by each and every one of them, including Brahma and Shiva in the sacrificial ceremony of Daksha. By mentioning Brahma, the chief of all living entities within this material world, he wanted to state that everyone, including also Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, is under the concept of the body and under the spell of material energy, all but Vishnu. That is a version of ego. As long as one is under the concept of the body itself, it is very difficult to understand the super soul or the supreme personality of God. Conscious that he was not greater than Brahma, Bhrigu included himself in the list of offenders. Ignorant personalities or conditioned souls have no choice but to accept their precarious condition under material nature. The only remedy is to surrender to Vishnu and always pray to be excused. One should depend only on the causeless mercy of the Lord for deliverance, not even slightly on one's own strength. That is the perfect position of a Krishna conscious person. The Lord is everyone's friend, but is especially friendly to the surrendered soul. The simple process, therefore, is that a conditioned soul should remain surrendered to the Lord, and the Lord will give him all protection to keep him out of the clutches of material contamination. So, first thing is one should understand or accept that he has committed offense or committed a mistake, and then should ask for forgiveness from the Lord. But between that, Bhrigu Muni is saying, so he also, in a line, he glorified the Lord. So he accepted his mistake, he glorified the Lord, and he asked for forgiveness. But at the same time, the forgiveness, after asking for forgiveness, one should not commit the same mistake or any mistake again. Lord is very kind. Lord is very merciful. Every move of his is full of mercy. That's all. Mercy, when whatever he does, it's merciful. Whether he kills the demons, it's merciful. Whether he protects the devotees, it's merciful. Whether he punishes the devotee as a loving father, it's also full of mercy. That is something the Lord cannot avoid, being merciful. So all we have to do is understand his nature, understand his position, understand our position, understand our offensive mentality, and just beg for his forgiveness, beg for his mercy. That's all. And He's ready to forgive us. This is the difference between demons and devotees. Devotees are ready to ask for forgiveness. Demons will never ask for forgiveness. Brahma Vacha Netat Swarupam Bhavato Asu Padartham Bhed Grihe Purusho Yavadiksheta Jnanasya Chartasya Gunasya Chashvayo Maya Maya Vyatirikto Matastvam. Lord Brahma said, my dear Lord, your personality in eternal form cannot be understood by any person who's trying to know you through the different processes of acquiring knowledge. Your position is always transcendental to the material creation, whereas the empiric attempt to understand you is material, as are its objectives and instruments. It is said that the transcendental name, qualities, activities, paraphernalia, etc. of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be understood with the material senses. The attempt of the empiric philosophers to understand the absolute truth by speculation is always futile, because the process of understanding, the objective, and the instruments by which they try to understand the absolute truth are all material. So the way the empiric philosophers, they try to understand about the Lord by reading the scriptures. But the mentality is all material. The instrument, the objective and process, everything is material. How can they understand the supreme truth? The Lord is aprakrita, beyond the creation of the material world. This fact is also accepted by the great impersonalist divine, Shankaracharya, Narayana Paravyakta. Avyakta, or the original material cause, is beyond this material manifestation and is the cause of the material world. Because Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is beyond the material world, one cannot speculate upon him by any material method. One has to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead simply by the transcendental method of Krishna consciousness. So by any material method, we cannot understand. There is no way. And by our material mind, material mentality, just like previously Prabhupada had written that Anant Shesha, with his unlimited tongues, has been trying to glorify the Lord since times immemorial, means for unlimited amount of time he's been trying, and he hasn't gotten any close, and even close to the infinite glories, understanding that. Because Lord's glories are infinite and they are always increasing. So how can a person in the material world with this tiny little material brain think he can understand the Supreme Lord? There's no way possible. So Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, only by devotional service one can understand the transcendental form of the Lord. The difference between the impersonalists and the personalists is that the impersonalists, limited by their speculative processes, cannot even approach the Supreme Personality of God. Whereas the devotees please the Supreme Personality of God through his transcendental loving service, Sevan Mukhehi. Due to the service attitude of the devotee, the Lord is revealed to him. The Supreme Lord cannot be understood by materialistic persons, even though he is present before them. Supreme Lord cannot be understood. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna therefore condemns such materialists as Mudas. Muda means rascal. It is said in the Gita, only rascals think of Lord Krishna as an ordinary person. They do not know what Lord Krishna's position is or what his transcendental potencies are. Unaware of his transcendental potencies, the impersonalists deride the person of Lord Krishna, whereas the devotees, by dint of their service attitude, can understand him as a personality of Godhead. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna also confirmed that it's very difficult to understand the personality of the Lord. It is difficult, but by His mercy, it becomes easy. He gives understanding by which we know Him, we can go to Him. But a materialist, even the Lord is standing right in front of him. Nam Prakasha Sarvasya. That's what Krishna says. Modo em na vijanat. Those who are moda, those who are rascals, they cannot understand. Just like Krishna, when he went as a peace messenger in the court of Maharaj Dhritarashtra, he was standing right there, and Duryodhana tried to capture him, tried to put him in prison. He didn't understand Krishna's position. Who is Krishna? And Krishna had to show him partial universal form. And still he didn't understand who Krishna is. So that is Krishna. That this is what Brahmaji is praying, that who can understand you? Nobody can understand you. And forget about understanding his rupa and his activities, his qualities, his form. It's completely impossible. And his loving dealings with his devotees. Now look at the picture behind me, Lord Jagannath. So somehow I think there was some confusion about Ekadashi, because in India also the Ekadashi was on Wednesday, but the return Rath Yatra happened on Wednesday, and in India today is Thursday. So in Jagannath Puri somehow Ekadashi is on Thursday. So because on Thursday, on Ekadashi, he wears this Shonavesha. Shonavesha means attire made of complete gold. It's real solid gold. I've seen that. I've touched it even. So the Lord goes back a day before Ekadashi, on Dashmi, is return Rath Yatra. So you must have seen that the videos of Rath Yatra on internet. So again, very few devotees are pulling the chariots, and the chariots are moving at full speed, in fact. So obviously it's not by the pulling of the chariot. And they were not even, if you can see, they were not even putting lots of pressure, force on the ropes. They're basically holding onto the ropes and they're walking. And the chariots are just moving. So all the three chariots then reach the Shri Mandir or main Mandir temple, and then still they stay outside on the chariot. So next day on the day of Ekadashi or the night of Ekadashi, because whole day they take rest because they have come through like this, come a long distance. So whole day they rest, and in the evening they're dressed in this Shonavesh to please Lakshmi Ji, because Lakshmi Ji is still upset. How come they went for so many days? So to please her, all three, Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and Sudarshan also, they wear this golden attire, and it's solid gold. And I don't know how they're going to do this time, because when they wear this solid gold attire, the devotees do the parikrama of all the three chariots, and there are last 2017 there were lakhs and lakhs and lakhs of devotees. Not enough room to move around, because when they are standing, all the three chariots are there in front of Jagannath temple. Yes, it's a huge road, but when the lakhs of people and police is cordoning off the whole area, it's not much room left. But still, in Jagannath's mercy, everybody comes, does the parikrama. And then following day, there will be another ceremony, and then the following day, the three of them will go inside. Of course, Jagannath will be stopped, So we'll talk about the next ceremony tomorrow. But this is what Prabhupada is writing. It's very, very difficult to understand Lord's form, his nature, his beauty, his dealings with devotees, his activities. It's just so hard to understand. Almost impossible. He's the Lord of the universe. But he lets him to be tied up. There's a little post behind Lord Jagannath and Balram and Subhadraji also. He lets him being tied up by the devotees, so he doesn't fall off the chariot. It looks like he doesn't have a hand. Okay, here they put those golden hands on him, but if you see, there are no hands. They're all shrunk. But that's a Mahabhava picture or Mahabhava form of the Lord. Is it really Mahabhava? Mahabhava of separation from Srimati Radharani. And Balramji and Subhadra are in the Mahabhava of separation from the Brajvasis. Even Sudarshan Chakra, normally he is a chakra, but here he is a rod. He is also in Mahabhava. Seeing his master being in Mahabhava. So these things, I mean, those who don't have faith, they will never believe it. They will say, just some rituals going on. So the Supreme Court judges, or the judge, whoever it was, I don't think he understood the position of Lord Jagannath. Who is Lord Jagannath? Maybe he gave Lord Jagannath just made him give the judgment. But if he was a devotee, he would never agree to in the first place. So this is what it is. Lord Jagannath, every year he comes out of the temple, goes for Rath Yatra, comes back with this wonderful pastime and activity. But those who don't have faith, they'll never believe in it. Never. And those who have faith, those who have developed some devotional attitude, they'll just get mystified by his beautiful pastimes. Even people in Jagannath Puri, they cannot believe that all of a sudden the Rath Yatra happened. Only few hours before the Rath Yatra had to start, there was still confusion. And now the Rath Yatra happened. So his pastimes are really mystical. So that's all we have to believe in. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, should we continue with Zoom app or can we switch on to some other, ignoring the Chinese app?
That couple of things, Dipanshu Prabhu and Abhishek Prabhu were looking into it, but I don't know what happened. And secondly, since it's not banned, so it's not a Chinese app. It's actually American app, run by a Chinese American person.
Then it's better. It's safe to go.
So, but yes, I'm looking into switching, but Dipanshu Prabhu and Abhishek Prabhu, if you can get into it to find out which is better, whether WebEx or Google Meet or MS Teams, whatever is better. Here Dipanshu Prabhu showed up.
In Office, Prabhuji, I use Microsoft Teams. That is another
I know
good app.
in our office also we use Microsoft Teams. But these IT people have to tell me what's the best thing.
Okay.
I'm not an IT person.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, actually Dipanshu Prabhu just got blessed with a baby daughter, so he got engaged in those stuff, so didn't
Wow.
got.
I know, he's busy playing with her. So
Yeah. Today is some function at his home, so he just left in a hurry.
oh, okay, okay.
So maybe after
So
that.
you all can figure out which is best, and we can make the switch.
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji.
But considering that in the group there are many old people like me, they don't know much about technology.
यस प्रभु जी, हम लोगों के लिए थोड़ा इजी
I know.
प्रभु जी, हम लोगों के लिए थोड़ा सा इसलिए सोच समझ के करना जो इजी हो.
I know. Otherwise, all these IT people, they have to go and download, install everything on your phones. Tell everybody how to use it.
बट प्रभु जी आपने कह दिया ना कि जूम तो अपना अमेरिकन चाइनीज पर्सन का तो इट्स स्टिल कंफर्टेबल लग रहा है कि वी कैन कंटिन्यू विद जूम ओनली.
If there is a better option, why not? I'm ready to switch. I'm attachment. Chalo, any other question or comment? So I guess we can stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
हरे कृष्णा, जय श्री प्रभुपाद.
हरे